Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and this is how to use Samurott. So Samurott has some pretty standard starter Pokemon stats that nothing really is extreme and overwhelmingly powerful, but there is a good balance overall. So 95 hit points, 85 defense, 70 special defense, and 70 speed. Now that's okay for a defensive standpoint because without any investment, 95 hit points means we could survive some attacks, and 85 on defense means we can actually not have to worry about physical attacks too much, that we're not like, oh no, this is going to neutrally one-shot us. No, we're a little too bulky for that in most situations. Also, when we break down our attack and special attack, it's okay, but good, but kind of weird. Because if we had more attack, it would make sense, because we're like a samurai sea lion Pokemon that actually pulls swords out of our arms. Why do we have less attack than our special attack? Now we are a water-type Pokemon. Water-type Pokemon generally have more special attack, because they just have that special coverage overall. Now, 108 on the special attack doesn't excel at anything, though. Like, you're going to do decent damage, but you're not looking at reliable one-hit KOs, and you really need to rely on super effective hits. Same with the attack, but it's not powerful enough to become like a pure split mixed Pokemon. And then 70 speed. 70 speed is going to hold us back quite a lot because we're not getting really good outspeeds, we're not getting reliable outspeeds, and we have like tank level speeds. So the speed makes me feel like sweepers are going to run over us, and then tanky Pokemon are just going to outbulk us, and that could be a bit of a problem. Look at its typing though, pure water type Pokemon. This is always a really consistent typing that we have grass electric weaknesses. Not the most common, but you will see them from time to time. However, it's not like overwhelmingly terrible. And then we get 4 resistances as well. Steel actually being pretty good because fairy type Pokemon are getting more popular. So then you also have steel type Pokemon to counter them. And then you bring water type Pokemon to stop all that. You also have ice, water, and fire resists. So overall, just pure water typing, going to have some really good resists overall. And then let's go and check out Samurott by hopping into Pokemon Showdown. I'm going to do this a bit differently. I'm going to kind of take a page out of my Kalos to Hoenn and just kind of list off the moves that Samurott gets and then try to formulate some kind of strategy with it. So overall, Samurott got screwed over more than any other 5th generation starter with its hidden ability, Shell Armor. Now, Shell Armor from a design standpoint makes a lot of sense. Shell Armor from a battle standpoint makes almost no sense whatsoever and gives Samurott no benefit because if we break down other things that Samurott gets, I'm going to take off Ice Beam, let's look for Curse. We don't have Curse. We don't even have like any kind of defense boosting. We don't even get Defense Curl. And then we look at Amnesia, we have nothing. So there's nothing to really boost our defenses to where we have to worry about getting crit or anything. So that doesn't really make any sense. We're not like a super tanky or super sleepy Pokemon to where getting crit is actually going to change the battle for us almost every time. It doesn't work that way. And when we look at the other Pokemon, Emboar has a lot of hit points, so getting Reckless with all of its like Flare Blitz and stuff makes a lot of sense. Superior, it has low starting stats, then it has good damage amp from the Leaf Storm. So Contrary makes a lot of sense. Samurott, Shell Armor makes sense from design, but doesn't do anything for in the battle, so it got screwed over. Also the stats, they start to show as a bit more mediocre when we break this down, because now what do? Do we become an okay special attacker, or do we try to get more out of our physical attack? So I was listing off all the special moves, does get a good amount of special coverage. We have Ice Beam, Scald, Grass Knot, and Air Slash. So the coverage works out, and we can also kind of step it up. That if we want to use Blizzard, we can get a little bit more damage out there for that accuracy trade. I personally don't like the accuracy right there. 30% chance to miss for only 20 more base power. I don't know. And then same with Scald. Now Hydro Pump is a move that I'm a bit more okay with. 80% accuracy means you're not going to miss it as often, and it is going to get stabbed in this case. So it does turn into 30 more power after you apply the stab. So that could be a bit better for the damage. Then we have Grass Knot, good amount of coverage, but it can really tear up Pokemon like Quagsire and Swampert, so that is something to carry. Also some really heavy ground type and rock type Pokemon. Then we have Air Slash. Air Slash not going to really bring too much to us because we're not going to outspeed and find that chance to flinch, but it is cool to mention because it gets Air Slash while having like this sword wielding. That's pretty neat. So if you're running special, you might want to go with some kind of choice Scarf because you might find a 2-hit KO off of really good coverage for that. You know, landing back-to-back Hydro Pumps could be really powerful. So with that, that's where we have to take in extra consideration. We go Modest Nature, we get more damage. Since we're going Scarf, it means we're not getting any other damage boosting from something like a choice item or Life Orb. So that is something we have to be weary of. But again, if we do go Jolly, then we find more outspeeds. So I was thinking that, you know, with the way that the metagame is, having a Modest Nature isn't going to hurt too much, and getting outsped isn't the end of the world. You pretty much just want to get to a competitive tier with your 70 speed, so that's why we're running Choice Scarf. Also, we can just kind of run Choice Specs. I feel that Choice Specs is going to be your better option here because with Life Orb, you're taking damage after you're taking damage, so the recoil isn't going to help you at all, and being able to switch around your moves doesn't really bring too much, so just choice specs. Also, not Jolly Nature, Timid Nature, misclicked, that's what you want to do, so one of those. With the bulk though, if we're running choice specs, then we shouldn't expect to outspeed anything, so that's when we run Modest, maybe hit point investment. Just try to become a 3-hit KO Pokemon and knock them out in 2 with Hydro Pump or some kind of other move like that. Also, Samurott also gets access to Taunt, Icy Wind, Superpower, and Revenge. So some of these are supportive, that in doubles, even though it's really good to have the outspeed for a Taunt, you can also carry a Taunt, Icy Wind, going to be able to hit both opponents for ice damage, and also slow them down so it starts to bring you up a bit. So you can run Modest with speed investment. After one Icy Wind, you might be able to convert damage. Because of that, you might want to stick to specials, so keep like a Hydro Pump, keep Grass Knot. Maybe the Air Slash could work in this situation to try to like stack on top of that. And then we have Superpower and Revenge. Now for Physical Samurott pretty much just as viable. I mean, the point difference doesn't really make too much between them, that even with the beneficial natures, we're getting to around 20 something more points, so even less than 10% on just the difference between attack and special attack, which means we can run that physical and still find some good damage. Revenge, it's going to actually be very, very powerful fighting coverage for you. Power doubles if you're damaged by the target, so that means you play on that slower game. That's when you max out, you go Adamant Nature hit points, play that Revenge game, boom. You also have Superpower. Now Superpower does the same thing for damage, but will lower your attack and defense by 1. But if you are speed boosting, then that is something to consider. Other than that, we just kind of have Copycat and Encore. Copycat's a cool move. I don't really know what Samurott can do with it, but then we have Encore. Encore, again, adds to the support capabilities of Samurott. Now, the reason why I think that the physical Samurott is better than the special Samurott is because we actually get Swords Dance. That there's no Calm Mind, there's no special boosting at all for Samurott, but Samurott does get Swords Dance, so that way it works into our attack pretty well. But that's where things also continue to stay a bit off. That with Swords Dance, we have to boost up, we have to hope we survive, and then we also have to hope for the outspeed, because Aqua Jet, while Aqua Jet is a nice move, it's pretty low base power. So from there we have Megahorn, Knockoff, or Waterfall. Knockoff after Swords Dance, the utility, the damage can be pretty devastating, but Megahorn, just 120 base power, also adds a decent amount to your coverage, however 85% accuracy. Then we can just have Waterfall. Waterfall, going to get stabbed, going to apply with Swords Dance, and hopefully be a good amount of damage. Now when you're running it like this, you might want to consider the Jolly Nature, just because, okay, you outspeed anything in your way, you can use it as kind of a tank busting Pokemon. Okay, maybe an 80 base speed Pokemon that doesn't have any speed investment, you can maybe overwhelm one of those kinds of Pokemon, or we just play to that bulk. Now, I do see a good benefit in playing to the bulk, and interestingly enough, I think running the Torrent Nature is going to be your best bet in pretty much all the situations. That because of your bulk, you have a decent chance of surviving with 1/3 or less hit points, which means Torrent's going to activate. Water attacks are going to do more damage, and then that just plays into your favor really well. So I was thinking we go Adamant Nature with hit point investment, and we do as many Swords Dance as possible. If we get 1 Swords Dance and we're in red, great. If we get 2 Swords Dance and we're in red, that's going to be the perfect scenario here. Because then what we want to do is we want to triple our attack off of the 2 Swords Dances, have Torrent activate, further boosting, and now Aqua Jet's looking for 1-hit KOs, and then we can just... The item is a little tougher though, because I was about to say Life Orb. However, if we're trying to get down to 1/3 of hit points, we might knock ourselves out after that. So that's where we do get into an interesting position right here. Now for the regular Swords Dance where we're running Jolly and we're trying to find outspeeds, Life Orb could work there. Lumberry is going to keep us safe from status. But in this rare, almost one-time situation, I think this is actually a decent use for Splash Plate. Now the reason why Splash Plate in this situation is because exclusively, if we're going just for Swords Dance and Aqua Jet, and then we have like Knockoff, and then that's when we carry Megahorn just for like coverage and stuff. Because why are we going for Waterfall if we're looking to outspeed off of just straight up Aqua Jets? This is where we're going to get that extra damage and not worry about the Life Orb too much. But this is probably like one of the only times I would condone a plate, because otherwise we would have better coverage that we're augmenting, but this we're just relying solely on priority and getting that little bit of extra damage right there. So with all the boosting, this could find some KOs if that Torrent does activate, and then we're just outspeeding priority KOs, and that could be very, very nice. But we are in the danger zone, so we are able to get redemption by other priority moves. At the same time, we're looking at a right amount of damage, and I think that this could be one of the best ways of running Samurott. So if you guys enjoyed the video, Samurott, a lot of bits and pieces, got screwed over in the ability, doesn't really excel anywhere, the speed kind of messes it up. So we do have to rely on some kind of crazy gimmicks. So if you guys enjoyed the video, that's how you use Samurott. I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you for watching.